finish. It could not be closer.
It's absolutely insane.
2 seconds between Vayu and Alpha Plus.
Phenomenal win here.
What a thrilling finish.
3, 2, 1.
Are they going to have enough momentum to just get round? What a mark rounding.
10.52s on this spreader leg is insane.
So welcome back to Porto Cervo. It's the second day of racing, a big day in prospect. We're going on the water super early to try and get a couple of races in before the big Mistral comes in the afternoon. Great day's racing yesterday, lots of drama, very, very close all the way through both races. And at the top of the table, it's Sled with a very, very small lead. This morning, we're catching up with the Phoenix Afterguard with gold medalists Will Ryan and Tom Slingsby. And here they are. So starting off, Tom, what was your thoughts of the first day?
It was great. It's been a while since I've been in the class, and really nice conditions, few rain clouds to avoid, but we had a really nice day and stayed out of trouble and got 2 good results.
What's ahead for the rest of the week, do you think?
Today's a lot of wind. It's right at the top end, so we'll have to see what happens when we get out there, but it looks like it'll be fun. Honestly, I'm just thinking of the downwind rides today, and again, we're going to just try to stay out of trouble, get some nice results, and try to stay in the hunt.
Will, you're in a different shirt obviously this week, moving from the Allegra. Just give us a little bit of a background to that change.
Next year I'm actually quite keen to try and do the SailGP circuit, and unfortunately the circuits don't work that well together. So for me, it's an opportunity to step away, and while I'm still just young enough to try and be a bit more like Tom and do the SailGP stuff, but as a last minute opportunity to jump in with these guys, this is their last event for Team Phoenix, and obviously the mood's here to enjoy it, and it's nice to see things still got it in these slow boats. So just enjoying being in a new environment.
What's it like being back in the 52 then, to say everything slows down, of course?
It does slow down a little bit, definitely on the upwinds. On the downwinds, you've got to make some pretty quick decisions. But honestly, I felt very rusty yesterday, and so I was asking Will 1,000 questions. Will, can we do this? He's like, no, you cannot. Can we cross that guy? No, you can't. You got to wait. I'm like, okay. So it was a lot of things like that, but it was so good to get back into it. It's such a great team and great atmosphere with the Phoenix squad. So I'm just really enjoying the moment.
What does the team mean to you? I mean, you've been with them many years. Nice to come back.
Yeah, the team means a lot to me, actually. Even though I haven't been here for 3 years, I sailed a bit with these guys over the past. We got our first win together back in Palma a few years ago. We've had a lot of good times, and so for me, I was really thankful to be asked back.
Well, I mean, to the outside, it looks like a dream team at the back of the boat, but you guys are good mates and have been for a long time.
Yeah, there's plenty of Aussies on the boat actually, so I think the South African and Aussie vibes seem to go pretty well together. There's a lot of joking. Sometimes I was a bit worried we weren't actually focused on the sailing, but we all get to do a bit of everything, and for me it's actually a bit more physical on this boat too. I get on the pumps occasionally, so that's been fun as well.
You had Tom out on the bike yet?
Not yet. We rode together about 3 years ago and he hasn't come back since.
What do you say to that, Tom?
Yeah, I know. I've traded my bike box for strollers and baby beds for this event, so the carry-on was all full.
What's life like though? I mean, it looks pretty hectic for you. A lot of logistics.
It's not too bad actually. I just do SailGP as sort of my priority. This year I did the Moth Worlds, and then other than that, this is the first event outside of Moths and SailGP, so it hasn't been too bad. We've been travelling Europe for a while with the family, but the priority this year has been SailGP.
And the family's getting bigger?
Family's getting bigger, expecting in January, so excited to add another little baby boy to the team.
Outside of SailGP, what are your ambitions? What do you want to do?
I'm honestly not too sure. I'm just sort of focusing on that. I'd love to get back into this sort of racing again. Hopefully the schedules can work together a bit better, but I love this stuff. I love the SailGP, love foiling, love non-foiling. I'll do as much as I can if the schedule permits.
What did you learn from the Moth Worlds? I mean, were you surprised you were so competitive?
I was a little. I've still got somehow the hiking legs from the lasers still come back, and I remember I know how to sail foiling boats pretty quick, but the young generation are getting so good. That group of 18 to 22-year-olds, it's a matter of time before I can't stick with them, but I was glad to jump in and have a little bit of training and be able to stick with them for hopefully not the last event, but I think the writing's on the wall there soon.
Well, you were saying sailing with Tom, there's two Toms.
Yeah, yesterday we got calm, Tom. It was awesome. I'll let you know how today goes. But no, Tom's definitely one of the most competitive people I've ever met. So that's what obviously makes him really good. And yeah, you take the good and the challenges with it. So no, yesterday obviously he felt relaxed. Hopefully we can keep him relaxed again today.
What do you think, Tom?
It's true. He's very, very much right. We'll see. Yeah, I never know when he's coming out either. So your guess is as good as mine.
And let's look back at the action from yesterday, and there was plenty of it. Good morning, welcome to Sardinia and to the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, a fantastic venue for the final regatta of the 2025 season. We've got 13 boats racing here from 10 different nations. American Magic have this comfortable lead at the top of the table. Great forecast in prospect, big winds, big waves, and it's going to be a great week. So race number 1 starts, the wind is 265 degrees, 10 to 13 knots, quite light off the start line. Paprick get the best start, really sharp on the gun, get away with a small lead, which they build up the first mark. It's super close between Paprick and Phoenix, coming round the top mark with Platoon Aviation, not far behind. Down the first run, Phoenix break away slightly from Paprick and Platoon. Through the lowered gate, it's still very even between Paprick and Platoon. Phoenix a little bit further behind. Down the final run, will Paprick have a small lead to try and protect? They've got Phoenix on the left, Platoon attacking on the right. Paprick trying to hold out through the finish line, but Platoon Aviation coming in late from the right and to close out the first win. So it's Platoon Aviation first, Paprick just a narrow second, Phoenix get third. Race number 2, the breeze is up 15-17 knots on the start line. The start of race 2, well, there's a general recall during the start procedure. Gladiator foul Platoon Aviation, causing a crew member to be injured and damage to the aft quarter of the boat. And so Platoon Aviation have to head back to Porto Cervo and can't race in the second race. So the start line is a very even start to race number 2. American Magic get a nice start in the middle of the line. Alpha Plus come off the pin end of the line. Round the top mark is American Magic overlapped with the Alpha Plus. Sled round in third. Through the leeward gate, Alpha Plus leading with Sled second, Provezza up to third. But it's a big win in the end for Alpha Plus. Sled gets second, Allegra get third, and Phoenix in fourth. So, after 2 races at the 52 Super Series Porto Cervo Range Rover Regatta, Sled leading on 6 points, second are Phoenix on 7 points, and Platoon Aviation on 7.5 points, getting 6.5 points for redress. So the circuit standings after the first 2 races in the Porto Cervo, American Magic Quantum Racing on 149 points, Sled are in second on 178, in third Paprick are now on a 210.5, 213 for Alcedo, and Platoon Aviation closing the gap on 214.5. So good morning, welcome back to Porto Cervo and the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, this beautiful race course. We've got a good breeze, we've already got 24 knots on the start line. The Mistral is in, we're setting up to go racing. We were supposed to go at 10:30, that was the plan, but we have a small delay. But Katie Dabson on the water, how is it? It looks fantastic, just the adrenaline is pumping already.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic out here, actually. It is, well, I'm just being completely showered by water right now on the rib. So all the guys on the boat are probably going to be exactly the same. But yeah, it's kind of 20 plus knots of breeze, pretty awkward sea state, quite a lot of chop around, which is going to make it really tricky. Yeah, it's going to be a really good day of racing. I'm super excited to see what we get.
A day you'd rather be racing than in the coach and in the commentary booth?
Oh, for sure, especially on these boats. They're going to be, fully powered up, absolutely max chat downwind, fully sending. Yeah, I think it's going to be really epic.
What did we learn yesterday? I mean, I think I once you kind of distilled down what was happening yesterday, I think it was probably one of the closest days of racing we've seen this season. There was nobody got a big lead. There was places changing all the time. Very, very close on the starts. There was no one defined side of the course. It was a great day's racing, wasn't it?
It really was, and I think we can kind of take from yesterday that, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it really isn't over till it's over. We saw boats that were kind of in 12th position overall at the second windward mark, coming downwind to kind of take 5th, 6th positions overall on the race. So actually, there was so much to play for out here, and the racing was super tight, and the boats that we kind of expect to see at the top, like American Magic, for example, who we're used to seeing chipping away through the fleet, found it quite difficult at points, but other boats were right at the back, able to chip their way through to 5th and 6th, and there was heaps of stuff going on out here yesterday.
I mean, it was a tough day for Doug DeVos, as I said in the interview with him, to step back into, or to be thrown back into the lion's den, as it were. He had a tough opening day. They got into some good positions, but in the end, it was an 18-point day, I think, for them, and that's pretty tough. They've got this points gap at the top of the table, but that's not the way they wanted to start, was it, Katie?
No, it wasn't, and it's actually quite uncharacteristic from them. As I said, like we normally when kind of you're watching them racing, no matter what position they're in, they're able to kind of gain places back around the racecourse. But yesterday they struggled a bit to do that. As you said, they have got a pretty comfortable lead coming into this regatta, so I don't think they'll be too worried just yet. But as we saw from last season, with Gladiator kind of going into the last event of the season with a big kind of, or a points lead, you can't take anything for granted, and nothing is a given, especially on kind of in conditions like this where it's offshore breeze. There's a lot of gains and losses to be made, and actually, I think they will have kind of, after yesterday, probably had debriefed kind of what happened, tried to figure out what's gone wrong, and then going to be trying to come out today and kind of reset to their normal sailing mode, I guess.
Indeed, but we look at the circuit standings, we see that American Magic are on 149, so they lost 12 points against Sled yesterday. Sled had that solid opening day for 6 points, so American Magic can't afford to have too many days like that. Obviously they still have that 29-point lead, but it's all to play for still. Sled really consistent yesterday, but the battle for third, 4th and 5th really has closed up. There was a 5-point net gain to Paprec from 2.5 points behind in 4th. They're now up to 3rd with 2.5 points over Alcedo Vitamina. But then look at Platoon Aviation. I mean, it's a bittersweet day for them. Yesterday they still came away with 7.5 points for the day, but having won the first race, look, they've closed the gap right down to 4 points behind the Paprec. We saw them coming in late till last season. The second half of their season really was when they made the big gains, did the German flag team. And Katie, they're doing the same again. They need to go out and have a solid day today. The pressure is on the French and on the Italians from the German flag team, isn't it?
It really is. I think, the pressure's on for kind of both those teams. We saw yesterday Paprec really coming out in that first race, and you could really see, as I said yesterday, the bit between their teeth. They really dominated on that first start. They really came out fighting, and I think I would expect to see them do the same today. I feel like they enjoy the windier, wavier conditions, especially on the downwinds. I think all of their offshore experience as a team will definitely kind of feed into this type of sailing and be an advantage for them. And I think they're probably going to be really excited about the day of sailing. And pressure's on for both of them. It'd just be kind of interesting to see how both teams handle it and what approach they take today.
But there's battles going on all the way through the fleet. There you go, 7th and 8th, Allegre and Vayu just separated by a single point. Provezza, a really tough day for them after their changes, but certainly a little bit of a green shoot. I think in the second race it made much better progress. Gladiator, a really tough day for them in the kind of big picture, and Phoenix, a pretty strong opening overall. But Katie, a long night for the Platoon Aviation shore team. They were still working to get the boat ready. They were still had the lifelines off at just before they docked out. So all credit to the shore team, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the shore teams on these boats are really incredible, and they're kind of I don't think they get enough kind of mention and credit, honestly, because they work such long, such hard hours at these events, and they're, even if there's nothing necessarily that we can see as broken on the boat, they're always making changes. They're always kind of getting feedback from the crew on things which kind of need a bit of a change, or things that could be improved. So they are constantly working, and even while we're out on the water, you've got like the sail teams on the shore, and you've got all of the shore crew kind of, they're still working away. They work so hard, and they're a really, really vital part of all of these teams.
The stress over the course of the season and the work rate is intensified year on year. So, not just a big credit to the shore team for the platoon aviation for last night and the work into the small hours of the morning to have the boat ready, but all the shore teams have done such a great job over the course of the season. They really are very, very much the unsung heroes of this circuit, operating at this level. And it was interesting to see as well, Katie, that when platoon aviation came ashore, there's a great solidarity among the shore teams. We had some of the experts from the Allegra team on board helping just to check the structure to see what the structural damage was, and really from the simple things of sharing tools and sharing electrical supplies and things like that, to just the solidarity, everybody helping each other to make sure that platoon is back out on the water. And they're back and they're competitive, and big Gerd Habermuller, the super powerful Austrian former bobsleigh champion, he is back. He was the sailor who was unfortunately injured by the bowsprit from the Gladiator in that collision at the start of the race, which was general recalled. Anyway, Gerd is back on board and is back, I think, to full power, but all credit to him and the team who look after him. He's a pretty tough guy. So otherwise, Katie, what do you think in terms of the weather for the day and the weather window? We're under a little bit of pressure. We're going racing early this morning because the Mistral is going to intensify, going to build through the day.
Yeah, so with these Mistral breezes, you do see them building throughout the day, and I think it's a really good call by the race committee actually to kind of try and get these races in super early and give us the best chance of being able to get the two races in, because these Mistral breezes can really, really build. And I know that just a couple of weeks ago for the Maxi Worlds, they, I think, ended up missing a couple of days because it came in super strong, and kind of 25, 30 plus knots of breeze is relatively common actually with those Mistral breezes building throughout the day, as I say. But I think at the moment the conditions are very much manageable, and I think a gradual increase is probably what we can expect. But I'm actually pretty hopeful that they're going to be able to get both the races off, and it's going to be really good racing, pretty manageable, but definitely top end, and definitely really exciting watching on the boats.
Yeah, we're seeing the breeze at 20 knots. We started off at 23 just about 40 minutes ago, so the breeze has dropped momentarily, but we're all set to go. I believe that American Magic are asking for a little bit of time to perhaps have a technical problem on board. Certainly looking from the air at the moment, there seems to be some activity in the cockpit trying to get things sorted out, so we're going for a warning signal in about a minute's time, we think. But otherwise, who were the outstanding performers? Great to see Phoenix back and performing from the off. What a great team they have, Katie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they came out yesterday and they got two really kind of solid results, and they really made their mark on the team, especially on the fleet, especially not having done the last regatta. There's probably a bit of a question mark of, I wonder where we're going to be in the fleet and things like that. There always is when you're coming back into a fleet after having missed a regatta. But I think they can be really happy with how they sailed yesterday. I think they raced really well, really made their mark, and I think they're going to be hoping to improve on that today.
Yeah, I guess if that was their starting level, then it's pretty encouraging for the week. Just to reiterate, we obviously heard from Tom and Will in particular, just saying that Phoenix will not be participating next year, but our understanding from the Plattner family is they'll be back bigger, stronger and better in 2027. They're taking a sabbatical year, and they will of course be missed. One of our top contenders when they have been here. In the remember the end of 2021, they were in contention for the circuit title until that kite blew up on the last run of one of the last races, and that handed the title pretty much to Sled. But there we go, we're on board with the Phoenix team. They look pretty relaxed. Willie Beavis there, just everybody looking around. We're getting a consensus on what the breeze is doing there between Shane Elliott, the navigator, Tom Slingsby and Will Ryan, just discussing, and we're inside 4 minutes to the start. Katie, what's your thoughts on this first upwind?
You got that cloth?
I think it's quite kind of similar direction to yesterday. I think we're actually pretty close into the shore here. I think that left-hand side land feature is going to come into play quite a lot, and also when you've got land on the left, the more inshore you go as well, the flatter the water potentially is. So I think the teams might be thinking about that, as the sea state is quite choppy out here, and that definitely slows you down when you're going upwind. So I would expect kind of the boats to be liking this left-hand side, depending on how stable the breeze is. But yeah, if I was to be going off the start line, I'd probably be thinking about the left, both for the sea state and for the potential left-hand shift at the top, so a lift coming back into that ley line on port.
We'll run with that, but it's very often the balance here is a little bit more wind pressure, but I think there's offshore, but I think on balance there's probably enough wind, as we're seeing 22 knots on the start line. Interesting on these overhead shots that we see, Katie, you can see the breeze is quite streaky. There's still some light patches out there in this westerly breeze. So we've got 2.5 minutes to go. And the key essence, yesterday we saw the teams super early on the line, almost certainly pushing the line very, very hard as we've seen this season, Katie.
Yeah, everyone was kind of really out fighting for their position on that line and fighting to get the best start that they could. And as you say, kind of it was one of the more aggressive start lines I've seen this season. And even kind of the second race yesterday, the general recall, everyone was really fighting very hard, and I would expect that to continue here. We'll see kind of where the boats end up lining up. Yesterday it was a relatively even spread actually across the line. There wasn't, all of the boats weren't all vying for the boat, they weren't all vying for the pin. It was a relatively even spread across the line, and everyone was kind of just trying to create their best gap that they could. We know that American Magic, that's kind of their preferred style of starting, more middle of the line, creating a gap, and we know that they're good at that. So yeah, if the boats are more spread out, I would expect them to probably be able to execute the start really well.
We're just watching them, as you say, setting up, trying to keep the bow up, keep the speed down, keep the height so that they have a gap to drive off into in the final seconds. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Gladiator pitching more towards the pin end of the line with Sled and Platoon. Gladiator were on that pin yesterday, pretty much on the pin with the Platoon when that incident happened. Sled down there as well. Now I'm liking the look of Paprec in the meantime, because they really do have a big gap to leeward. So too Allegra there. Then more of a group towards the committee boat end of the line. We have Criolla, Alpha Plus, Prevezza, Alcedo, Teasing Machine, all in the compact group at the right hand end of the line. Still liking the look of American Magic. They have a big gap to leeward for Doug DeVos to build speed into. Now it's all about who pulls the pin first and gets going. Gladiator really have a nice runway there, plenty of room to build up. They're got a gap to the pin end of the line at 15 seconds to go. Paprec a little bit slow in the middle of the line there. Platoon Aviation well forward, but they've got the final seconds coming into the start. It looks like Platoon Aviation could potentially have the best start of the fleet. They just build the final bit of speed. And we're hearing all clear, I think, Katie.
It looks like a really nice start for Platoon, as you said. They've really managed to punch out, and again up the line, Teasing Machine looking to be kind of punching out quite a lot as well. So yeah, good starts from both of them. It looks like both Gladiator and Sled down at this pin end were just a second or two late. Maybe you're super exposed when you're down at this pin end. If you get it wrong and you're over, then yeah, it's pretty obvious. So yeah, maybe a bit cautious on that line, but I think Gladiator's got space to go into a low mode and sail fast out of this, so I think they should be fine. But I'd be a bit worried if I was Sled, slightly pinned in between Gladiator and Platoon at the moment. They're going to be really trying to hold that lane and make sure that they don't slip into the dirty wind of Platoon.
Indeed, Platoon as it's really set up nicely and had the final speed build. Even so, I think just slightly late on the gun, but really it's so close. And in the meantime, they do have the stronger position of the boats at the pin end of the line in the left-hand group. It's all about sailing the high mode and staying fast. Phoenix just struggling a little bit in that position, just astern of and to windward of Platoon Aviation. They're not going to be able to live there for very long. Further up the lineup as well, quite like the position of Alcedo. Nobody just below them, or nobody really impinging on them from leeward. And where we can see max concentration from the helmsman. Input all the time from the afterguard, which of course is now Nevin Snow having joined as a strategist. But really a direct head-to-head battle just now with Teasing Machine. Eric de Turkheim's team just to leeward. Platoon Aviation, though, really sailing nicely, just starting to get up and hurt Phoenix even more. And Katie, Platoon Aviation have managed to get just a little bit of separation from Sled, which is super exciting. Good news for them.
They've done a really nice job of climbing off Sled, actually. I think Sled and Gladiator both were probably trying to go for a little bit more of a lower mode just to protect themselves from being rolled. But I think Platoon have allowed themselves to try to sail that higher mode. Looks like they're probably starting to affect Phoenix as well now, and affect their dirty wind. But yeah, they've got a really nice high mode going on here, created a bit of a gap between them and Sled and Gladiator below them, which means they're really in a controlling position for this tack. And I think, yeah, they're definitely in the controlling position for both Sled and Gladiator right now. So they're doing a really nice job of this, the first bit of the upwind.
Correspondingly not so easy for Gladiator just now, although they're nicely positioned relative to the fleet there. We're seeing them in third in terms of distance to the windward mark. They'll start to be hurt a little bit by Sled, but the more that the minutes tick by for this first beat, we're really liking the look of Platoon Aviation at the moment. And again, these great aerial shots, you really see the puffs, the gusts coming down the course. Two boats away out on the right side of this upwind. I think one of them was Vayu, and also Pravetsa having a punt out there. Sailing in clear air, Alpha Plus as well. American Magic very much in the fight in 7th just now. I think patience is the virtue for the American Magic team just now. It's going to be all about the top half, the top third of this windward leg, the approach to the windward mark. Certainly there, that shot of Vayu, nice open water, clear wind, letting the boat do the work, Katie.
Yeah, for sure. And when you've got any kind of sea state, that's what you need to do. You need to let the boat, you need to kind of let the boat release almost. You can't fight the boat in these conditions because you just end up going slower. You need to allow the boat to sail, to kind of sail through the waves more free. You're not going to be able to force it where you want it to go. but I think Vayu doing a really nice job of that and getting themselves free, and that's why the bigger lanes and having a good lane is so important in this stuff, because you don't want your mode to be dictated to by boats around you, because you just end up losing speed so much.
Indeed, so we're on board with the Paprec. They had a pretty decent start, but they've been going well. They really have good all-round speed, certainly looking quite quick upwind. I think the downwinds, Katie, are going to be great fun in this breeze, aren't they? We're really looking forward to that.
For sure, I think they're all going to be really kind of weight stacked up at the back, going to be surfing down those waves. You're going to have so much spray on all of the crew, all of the teams. Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting.
And where the gains and losses will be made, do you think?
I think so. If yesterday is anything to go by, as you were kind of have mentioned earlier, the streaky kind of breeze that we can see in the overhead drone shots, that was a really defining factor of yesterday's racing, and that was kind of the downwinds yesterday, I would say, were the most important part. That was where the majority of the big gains and losses were made by those the boats kind of finding those little bands of breeze and getting into them, and the boat speed difference when you were in a line of breeze versus when you weren't was kind of race defining almost. And I think, as we've seen in the drone shots today, the strands of the lines of breeze are very much still there. So I think, yeah, the downwinds is going to be really, really important part of today's racing as well as yesterday's.
On board as American Magic go for their attack, just to go behind Alcedo. Revetsa next out there. They're going to take a hitch out to the right. They're kind of mid-fleet for the moment. I'm sure that, as usual, the target for American Magic, it won't be too ambitious for the day. Two top four, top five, so will be the general target, I would imagine, for the team. They're working out to get across. They're getting over Teasing Machine, Alpha Plus and Phoenix perhaps. The sled also going really well. Our regatta leaders. Strong Italian element to the afterguard with Andrea Vicentini and Francesco Bruni working with Murray Jones. The strategist, Mr. Akura, enjoying his racing here. Great head-to-head between them and Platoon Aviation. Vayu then, as we can see, just the most right-hand boat. Not really making that much of an impression on the fleet so far, but we'll see. They certainly will have the power of the right as they get closer to the top mark. Still max activity then as American Magic tack to weather off Brevetza. Great battle in the middle of the fleet between Allegra, Paprec, Gladiator, all in different parts of the course, but this upwind, Katie, is just getting more and more intense, isn't it?
It really is. It's turned into a full-on kind of drag race out on this left-hand side between sled, platoon and Paprec, and it's all kind of a bit of a game of chicken, I think, to see who tacks first. I think we're going to have to see kind of where the boats tack on each other out here, but sled has had some really good pace coming out on towards this left-hand side. They got themselves out of a really tricky lane and have managed to kind of sail out in front of all the boats around them, including Platoon. I mean, Platoon kind of climbed a bit on them, so they've got a bit more height than them, but sled really managed to punch forward. Two very different modes. Who has the best VMG, we'll have to see when they get to kind of a point at the top where they come together. But yeah, sled looking really fast for me up this upwind, as well as Platoon looking really good.
Well, that was what Francesco Bruni said after yesterday. He was particularly happy with their pace upwind. they're making that work for them just now. But it's going to be really some close action at this first top mark. Whether you want to try and get to the starboard tack ley line and own that as early as possible. I see that that looks to be a general strategy, low risk for American Magic. Want to get to starboard and own that side of the course, at least for their group. That's the important thing for them, minimising risk as ever. Allegra also going well. We're seeing them in first just now. Changes on board there. Paul Goodison coming in Porto Portals. Pietro Sabello joining for this regatta. So great excitement on board. Andy Soriano there, the owner-driver. Staying fast, staying high. So again, quite a strong element of strong Italian flavour to the Allegra team, with Pietro joining, Francesco Mongelli, the navigator. Value still going nicely there. Nick Rogers is the tactician on board. And as we said yesterday, Nopakau Poonpat, the young Thai female helm, is doing a fantastic job on board. Experience building more and more. So Katie, how do you see the top third of this beat going?
I think for me, I like the look of both Allegra and Platoon actually. I think it all kind of depends on whether they've sailed over the ley line. If you look at the tracking, it looks like Sled is over the ley line for these windward marks, so they're going to have to sail a bit more distance to get back down and potentially even end up in Platoon's line to be able to get round the kind of protector mark at this windward. But they are able then to sail a lower and faster mode, so potentially they could get over the top of Platoon and get inside the fleet. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one to see how that kind of plays out. But I think, yeah, Sled and Platoon looking good for me, and Allegra as well looking really strong coming in on this port ley line.
We're on board with Allegra. Yesterday were pretty decent, a sixth and a third. And their third, they really kind of built into the fleet, as it were, or into the podium places as the race went on. Seventh at the windward mark, first time up yesterday in race 2, and got up to third. But again, another team who've got huge experience here, as many of our top pro sailors do here in Porto Cervo. But really, at this stage of the season, at this stage of the regatta, it's about minimising risk, trying not to get into fights at the windward mark. Allegra going well, certainly seeing our top 3 coming from the left, coming off the, or certainly Platoon Sled came off the left of the start line. American Magic worth watching on this right side, to say they're going for the low risk option. They're trying to keep an open lane as best they can. But really fantastic conditions. 22, 23 knots of breeze. This nasty little chop that Katie was talking about, to keep the boat moving smoothly. And again, yesterday we were talking about the minimal use of the helm, and look at that with Doug DeVos. It's just little bits here and there. Boat beautifully set up, with Lucas Calabrese there on the mainsail, working with Doug. Terry calling the breeze and what's happening with the fleet, supported by Victor and Sarah Stone. But Allegra do seem to have a little bit of a jump. Look at the boat speeds. Allegra quickest for the moment. Sled also quick. By a little bit slower on that right side. The speed difference is interesting. 11.3, 11.7 sled, 12 upwind at the moment. That's pretty impressive. It's going to be all about this approach. Allegra do seem to have a little bit of daylight just now. Should be enough for them to get round the top mark. Clear value in the mix, having sailed most of the upwind to the right of the main fleet. So there we go, not far to go to this windward mark. Just watching there, American Magic should get to the starboard tack ley line. Followed by Phoenix. And as Katie was saying, look at Allegra just crossing the separator mark, the protector mark. Sled just having to come down very slightly. So Katie, windward mark.
Yeah, so I was just about to say, if you look at the kind of tracks of all of the boats coming in on this port ley line, look at Sled, Platoon, all of them, they've had to kind of really bear away to be able to get round that protector mark, and it's really bunched the whole fleet up. There are so many boats that are like in basically the same bit of water up here right now. It's kind of madness. But Allegra did a really nice job tacking just below that port ley line, able to sail kind of a normal mode upwind, and they didn't get sucked into the rest of the boats that were getting sucked together on that port ley line because they were all overlay. So Allegra rounded this windward mark in front with like a 2-3 boat length lead, which, yeah, really nice job from them upwind. And then the rest of the fleet absolutely stacked. You've got Sled just behind them, and then pretty much all round at the same time. You've got Platoon, you've got Bailly, you've got American Magic, you've got Paprec, and then I think the last one round is Provetza, I think it is. So all of those guys really rounding pretty much at the same time, and it's going to be all on this hoist. And it's going to be, you've got 3 boats going around this spreader at the exact same time. Quantum, Platoon and Bailly all on the hoist. Who can get that kite up the quickest, who can get it set the quickest, and then who can get up to full speed.
Indeed, just watching the second half of the fleet going round the windward mark. A little bit of work to do for Criolla, Phoenix, Alcedo in 10th, Gladiator in 11th. And I think 13th is going to be Teasing Machine, but great rounding, as Katie said. Top half of the fleet really converging on the top mark in an instant, but massive credit meantime to Andy Soriano and the team on Allegra with an early lead. They're 10 seconds ahead. Platoon Aviation a further 10 seconds behind, but really next to nothing between Platoon Aviation, Value, American Magic, Paprec and Provetza. And what a first run, fantastic conditions. There is the advantage of leading this downwind, Katie, isn't there, to Allegra?
For sure. I mean, yeah, leading the downwind, you get your own space, and you get to decide kind of the mode that you pick, and you get to decide the point at which you drive out, as long as you don't let the boats behind you inside you. But yeah, they're definitely kind of holding on to that lead at the moment. Interestingly, we saw, I was saying kind of at the spreader mark, it's all on the hoist. Quantum actually got their kite up first. They had the quickest hoist, kite up first, but because of the position that they were in, they were underneath Platoon and they were underneath Value. They actually ended up getting rolled anyway. So that just kind of shows that, oh, whoa, sorry, just looking at wind, I think Teasing Machine's kite is just completely blown in half.
Oh dear.
That's really tough for them after yesterday struggling as well in that last race. But yeah, they've currently got a kite in 2 pieces, which is not really what you want to see, but that just goes to show kind of how big the breeze is out here at the moment. Super exciting stuff. But yeah, you've got Quantum jibed out to the left-hand side of the downwind, jibing out early because they got rolled by Platoon and Bailly, splitting from the fleet. That might pay off for them if they find a bit of breeze out there, kind of similar to yesterday, if they find more breeze. But at the moment, Allegra and Sled, the top 2 boats, absolutely sending it out to this right-hand side in this big breeze.
Did massive credit meantime to Allegra, sailing low and fast, trying to stay down out of Sled's path, as it were, on board briefly with the Allegra team. Big Sebastian Ten Hag, the Swedish project manager and grinder. Absolutely full chat. Great. It's poetry in motion, isn't it? And they jibe at exactly the same time as a Sled. Who jibes best? Allegra settling, and a big acceleration out of the jibe. That's exactly what you want. Getting onto a wave. Being pursued by Sled. What a race. Sled putting Allegra under pressure. They have a gap of 250 metres back to third placed Vayu now. They've sailed a great downwind, these two leading boats. Got themselves a big gap. And Sled keeping the pressure on, chasing.
They really have, and that kind of the synchro jibe there, and both of them kind of nailing their jibe, not giving an absolute inch. But I do think we actually have to keep an eye on American Magic out on that left-hand side.
Left,
their boat speed at the moment has been 2 knots faster kind of consistently for the last few minutes. They've been up to 22 knots downwind, which is pretty mega. So they are going super quickly out that side. Allegra and Sled, both really quick this side, but definitely the speed edge at the moment goes to that left-hand side. We'll see if that can carry on all the way down, but
we can hear the wind whistling through the rigging and over the keel on American Magic, coming down wind at 21 knots versus 18.1 knots for Allegra. American Magic, Quantum Racing up to third place, coming down this first run. Platoon Aviation in fifth, having been round the top mark in third. So the circuit leaders with Doug DeVos on the helm, making a charge down the left side. There's their jibe as they will converge back with the fleet. We'll get a better idea of what they can do relative to Allegra. Allegra possibly opened out a little bit on Sled.
I think, as you said on the jibe, Allegra really accelerated nicely out of that jibe. They kind of picked the perfect place to jibe on a wave. That's so critical in this stuff. You want to be kind of jibing on a wave, letting the wave carry you down. You want to be surfing down the wave on the exit of the jibe, rather than, if you get the timing a little bit wrong, the wave can end up overtaking you and then you end up really slow on the exit of the jibe. But I think Allegra really managing to maximise kind of every inch out of their jibe and get a really good acceleration down the wave on it, which has given them a little bit of a jump on Sled there.
Look at the angles now, just watching American Magic still on that charge, on that left side. Coming downwind, you can see the stronger breeze there. You can see the line just between Allegra and the boat to weather of them. Sled chasing. American Magic make their jibe and are coming back now. It's Platoon in the middle. Platoon actually probably have done quite nicely. We'll think jibe earlier. Now then, something happening with Allegra's kite. They're losing the kite momentarily. That's costing them a boat length. Just seem to get a little bit low. American Magic coming back at full chat on the starboard jibe. Platoon Aviation have lost their kite coming out of the jibe. Regatta in the mix, charging downwind. They're in sixth at the moment. But look at the American team coming in with pace. It's all the time they can gain, keeping the kite up slightly longer than Allegra. Allegra a little bit untidy on the drop, just trying to get that kite away. In fact, it ends up being a manual drop on the bow there. Clearly having a problem with the retrieval line. That's costing them. American Magic on absolutely on song. Perfect boat handling. Getting the kite away, jibing early. Beautifully controlled and getting round, I think, in a good second. Sled round in third. Patrick, a little bit of goose wing action or something at the moment. Coming in very, very deep, but holding position on Platoon Aviation. That's the key for them, not letting Platoon get inside them. But what a run, Katie, from American Magic up to second place. Good call, good speed.
Oh, so Platoon, Platoon have had an absolute shocker with their drop. The chute is actually now underneath the boat. They're unable to travel upwind. They've got all the crew down to leeward trying to figure out how to get this kite back on board, but that is a massive error by those. That's super costly. I hope that they can kind of get the chute back into the boat and be able to carry on this race. But yeah, that's a really tricky position by them. It looks like the drop out here is super hard. We've seen kind of 2-3 teams having an issue. Criolla now kind of really struggling with their drop as well. So yeah, super hard conditions out here at the moment.
Indeed, I think it was interesting to watch how Allegra played it. Allegra went for the early drop, keeping it safe, keeping it tight. Meantime, Criolla got a much worse situation with the kite behind them. They run the halyard, I think, and sailing away from it, what we call the chase boat drop. Run the halyard and run the sheets. They're having to leave that kite behind. I'm sure it will be picked up in a few minutes' time by one of our support boats. But a really massive credit to American Magic. Got themselves right into this race. Disappointing for Platoon Aviation. Either a mechanical problem with the drop line, or indeed a crew error, but that really has cost them just when they were back on song after the disappointment of yesterday. Patrick coming away from that mark in reasonable shape. Key thing for them, absolutely all the time, or not all the time, but they're at the back of their minds all the time. They're watching their main rivals for the podium place, so they have obviously that's to their advantage, with Platoon now back in 12th, just getting themselves going at the moment, and also Alcedo at the moment down in 10th. The breeze is really in, Katie, isn't it? Certainly that looks like 24-25 knots, full on Mistral conditions as we start this second upwind.
Full on breeze out here, and if you kind of as I'm looking at the boat sailing upwind, the top half of their mainsails are flogging so much, and that just shows how breezy it is. They're really having to kind of spill so much power just to kind of keep going forwards and not tip over too much. They're going to have their mains set up super flat, max D power set up on the boats today, I reckon. And as I said, yeah, you can kind of see the mainsails flogging, which is really an indicator of just how breezy it is out here.
But Allegra keeping it tight and relatively conservative in the middle of the course. American Magic in third for the moment. Sled pushing out to the left side. Wind speed is just topping out at 26 knots just now. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't build too much more than that. 26 would really be on the cusp for starting a race, but fabulous conditions. Top end sailing at the moment, and that mistake or problem at the leeward gate really has cost Platoon Aviation. But look at that, immaculate sailing from the regatta leaders. Bow number 5, they finished on the podium several times over the course of the seasons and been with us, and this is looking good for sled team. Remember, as we said, they won here the last time we raced in 2019. And things looking good for the sled team in the meantime, but in these conditions things change in an instant, Casey, don't they?
They really do, and kind of a mistake that wouldn't be so costly and kind of more tame conditions can be so punishing out here in this stuff. I think the focus right now, while it's this top end conditions and while it's kind of getting towards really survival conditions, is going to be on, or in my opinion it should be on, kind of really simplifying everything and making everything as easy as you can for yourselves. You really don't want to kind of create the opportunity for those big mistakes to happen. You just want to be kind of making sure you're dropping early, you're giving yourselves enough time to prep before you do maneuvers. You want to make sure that the communication on board is kind of, although it probably is a bit more urgent in these conditions, you want to make sure that the communication is kind of calm and is coherent and is not too manic, because the more noise around the boat, there's already a lot going on these boats right now. There's already so many noises coming from the rig, from everything. So if you add shouting into that, it's pure chaos. But yeah, I think the teams right now just need to focus on getting through the rest of this race and really kind of simplifying it for themselves as much as they can, and making the most of what they can, and kind of being able to be in a position to overtake other boats if and when they make the mistakes around them.
Indeed, so looking at the lineup on the Allegra at the moment, they had a good day yesterday with a 6th and a 3rd, to say Pietro Sabello joining the team as a strategist along with Paul Goodison. So Andy Soriano, the vastly experienced owner-driver, Paul Goodison, the tactician, Pietro Sabello coming in as strategist. Sabello, of course, a double Olympian, 3 bronze medals at European Championship level, and was in the 49er fleet for many, many years, and won the European Championships in Zadar in 2009, and sailed 2 Olympics with his brothers. And more recently was coach with Luna Rossa, and also with Alinghi, I think, most recently, but then working with Francesco Mongelli, long-time navigator, Pablo Arate on the runners, Chris Cowan joining as floater, Elliot Willis, double 470 world champion, Pierluigi De Felice trimming with Andy Hemmings, Sebastian Ten Hag, who we saw on the grinding, on the pumps with Michele Ganuti, Jonathan Taylor in the pit, Joe Cox and Mamu Caputo, a super talented team, and they're lying second at the moment. Katie, a few words about Pietro Sabello. You're talking about the clear communication. I think coming from a coaching background into this fleet is also a little bit of an asset in that sense, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, as a coach, you have to be able to really clearly and concisely get your point across, both kind of when you're briefing, debriefing, just you've got more time, but also kind of being able to coach boats while they're on the water during racing. You don't have a huge amount of time to be able to get the information across to the teams you're coaching, so you really have to be able to be concise and clear and kind of like,
and neutral is the key thing, isn't it? You can't afford to bring your emotion.
Yeah.
You can't afford to bring your emotions into it, because you upset your athletes.
Absolutely, and I think, everyone does have emotions. I think that's why we do what we do, because we love sailing and we feel very passionately about it, and we really, I think every single person on the water right now that's sailing really, really, really wants to win. But yeah, you've kind of got to keep that emotion in check and be able to communicate in a calm way and in a really neutral, level way, just to keep everyone around you in the same headspace as that as well. And that's really, really important, and actually that's a really valuable asset that having a kind of someone who's a coach on board as well is going to be bringing to the team.
Indeed, so watching as American Magic back to windward off Paprec. A really tight, close match between the two of them for the moment. Big gap back to Gladiator. Gladiator come back nicely into this race, making some gains. But it's going to be all on this final run, Katie, isn't it? It's going to be battle between Sled, Allegra, American Magic not too far behind.
It'll be really interesting actually to see what the teams do on this downwind. I mean, they will have seen American Magic and they will have seen the gains that they made by driving out to that left-hand side, and I think they'll be mindful of that, but also at the same time weighing up the kind of potential risk of doing maneuvers in this stuff. In the windier stuff, you kind of potentially want to be thinking about minimizing the maneuvers, so there's going to be a lot that the afterguard is talking about kind of towards the top of this upwind, trying to make a plan for the downwind, and I think there is still so much to gain and lose on this last downwind.
For Sled, coming back to a venue where they won before, that brings a certain extra level of confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think when you return to a venue where you've previously been successful, it always brings confidence with it, because, well, yeah, you kind of draw confidence from past experiences. So for sure, they'll be feeling pretty good coming back here.
Anyway, Sled in control, about 90, 100 metres ahead of Allegra. Allegra leading this lineup to the left of the upwind with Patrick behind. Sled slightly to leeward, more towards the middle of the course. No obvious gains out to that right side. There's the projected point standing. If positions stayed the same in this race through the finish line, Sled would lead on 7 points, Allegra on 11, Patrick on 15, tied with Phoenix. British Aviation on 5th on 19.5. And all the time looking at that battle for third, Patrick strengthening their hand for the meantime. A level above Alcedo Vitamina just now, the way they're sailing. On board with the Phoenix in 8th just now. But anything can happen down this final run. Phoenix did well in the breeze in Cascais generally, with finishing 4th overall. Brevette's very much mid-fleet in this race, but 5 and a 6 would be showing some elements of consistency. Just reminding us Santi Lang on as a strategist, working with Colle Parada, who's now a tactician. American Magic, I think it's about consolidating for them just now, not pushing the risk any more than they need to. They can come away with a third in this race, that would be just perfect for them. Just keeping their options open for the meantime as they come in on port towards the top mark. And Greg Gundell just coming out from having set up the kite. Back on the rail. Terry keeping his constant commentary to Doug, asking him to keep the height and no lower for the meantime. So here we go, the final approach to the windward mark. Sled looking solid. Great conditions, great breeze. These flecks of white horses on the water here, clearly indicative that the Mistral is in. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to be building too much more than in the meantime, although we tend to see it build in the afternoon. There'll still be some thermal element. Another good ley line call from Andrea Vicentini and co on the sled. Allegra just behind, so at this
Really good to see them kind of learning from their first upwind, where they overlaid on port and ended up being sucked back into the fleet. So they've clearly learned from that first upwind. They don't want to go all the way past that ley line to the protector mark. They want to be going on it. So yeah, really good ley line call by them on this upwind, and good learning from the last upwind.
They're listening to you, Katie. Naturally.
They must be. Got a direct line to my commentary.
Anyway, great to see them getting around the top mark in good shape. Sled, Takashi Okuro's team. actually quite comfortable relative to Allegra for the moment, considering how they shaped up on the early stages of the first downwind. And Sled will get the advantage of getting the kite up and accelerating for a few seconds before Allegra get there. Not under any immediate pressure, good hoist. Allegra round the offset next and actually see the gap between Paprec and Gladiator. So Paprec, I think, can afford in fourth, can afford to just, again, like American Magic, keep it tight, keep it simple, don't push the risk. Meantime, Gladiator attacking it inside Regatta. Regatta should just roll them, or maybe not. Gladiator keeping the bow up as much as possible just to slow Regatta. But I think possibly in the end slowing each other down. But it's all about who gets the hoist best at the offset mark. But all credit to Gladiator. Gladiator were 12th at the top mark first time up. They're getting themselves up to 6th. And of course the Parada brothers, Colle and Guige, now head for head as tacticians on their respective boats. Advantage Colle for the moment. Well, look at the time he's came round side by side, but the sibling rivalry. Bayou and Phoenix. So really tough moments for the Platoon Aviation team. That problem at the leeward mark costing them down to 11th, and no real opportunities, I don't think, to make a significant number of places down this run. But here we go. Fabulous conditions. Now, Katie, what are Sled focused on with regards to the boats behind and inside them? We can see American Magic trying to get down inside. Everyone there at the back of the bus, Max Hike, I beg your pardon.
So Sled's going to be kind of really focused on, not letting those boats behind get on their inside to block their jibe. They're going to be really focused on making sure that they're free to jibe when they want to, and that they're not going to be covered for the leg back on port towards the finish. I would expect them to probably try and jibe kind of on the ley line to the finish, just to prevent another jibe, or kind of as close to as possible. But I mean, in this stuff it's super hard. Your angles are changing quite a lot depending on what whether you're in a puff or like a gust or a lull, or whether you're kind of on a wave or not. So that ley line's going to be really, really hard to call, but they're going to want to just basically be focusing on going as fast as they possibly can right now, and make sure that they are clear to jibe as and when they want to, so that they can kind of control the fleet all the way back to that finish line.
Actually, Sled quickest in the fleet momentarily. American Magic, going super quick, 20.3 knots versus 16.6. They've got themselves in a vein of breeze and are fast downwind. Wonder whether Paprec can get up to them. Remember these battles that we saw in Cascais between the French and the Americans. The French with that blue kite are charging. We have seen them as one of the fastest teams downwind. The American Magic going really nicely at the moment. Allegra also.
American Magic really managing to kind of start to get inside Allegre here. I think Allegre are going to potentially struggle to get the jibe in front of American Magic if it keeps on going like this, and I would expect American Magic to potentially try to jibe on Allegre when they try to jibe, and maybe try and get the roll on out, so roll them on port. But American Magic absolutely sending it down this run. I've been watching them, we've been kind of motoring alongside them down here, and they are absolutely sending. Yeah, I mean, they've just found another gear down this downwind.
It's absolutely mesmerising, isn't it? And here they go, as you said, Katie, just getting down inside Allegra, and maybe able to just surge up inside them. Allegra having to think about jibing, but American Magic getting themselves up to second for the meantime. And really, all in all, great boat handling from all the top three teams. That jibe with the jib up is not easy. American Magic, though, was just immaculate, and they're surging ahead of Allegra now. Sled, I don't think under any immediate pressure, but that could then prove to be the curse of the commentator. But I'm sure that it's such an exciting final downwind of this race one of the day. Conditions really actually quite manageable down this run. Breeze has eased off very slightly. Allegra absolutely on the edge, the luff of the kite just ragging momentarily. See our umpires there working hard.
I think at this point Allegre's...
Come on, Katie.
Yeah, I think at this point Allegre's also got to kind of watch out for Paprec. I think
American Magic on the edge. American Magic broaching. Just losing the kite momentarily. Just when I said it was actually quite manageable, American Magic just a little mini broach, having to get the kite back under control. This is to Allegra's advantage. Allegra get the chance to fight back. American Magic have to get back under control, back up to full speed. Allegra, meantime, bringing it back to the Americans. Just Doug DeVos lost the rudder, lost control momentarily. Just pressing a little bit too hard. A big gust coming in. So it's absolutely head-to-head, but in the meantime, massive credit to the sled team. Immaculate, really, really immaculate boat handling. The battle is for second and third just now. American Magic are rallying after that broach. Converging slightly down onto the line of Allegra. You can see Andy Soriano trying to work the waves as much as possible. As Katie said, you see the blue kite of Paprec on the charge. Paprec taking it to the two boats in front, but it's going to be a big, big win in the end for Takashi Akura's team, the winners here in 2019, winning race 3 of the regatta. American Magic will hold out to get second in a few seconds, coming through at max speed. A nervous moment on that run when they just lost the rudder momentarily. Allegra will just get there for third, and Paprec almost overlapped with Allegra, the French getting fourth, but great racing from all of the top 4 boats, Katie.
Yeah, that last downwind was insane. Just when you kind of thought that everyone was settled, yeah, American Magic almost having a major. The recovery from them was insane for them to be able to broach and then kind of keep going and stay in front of those boats behind. And Paprec, as you say, late charge. Whew, super close racing out here.
And a credit to Gladiator as well. As say the top mark first time up, they were 12th or 13th, so to come away with 5th in the end is really magical. And for the Parada brothers, it's bragging rights to Guige momentarily. Provezza was round just ahead of them. However, Provezza getting 6th. Alcedo will come in for 7th. Phoenix, maybe a little bit of a reality check, dare I say, coming into this fleet in these conditions with a relatively new afterguard, but learning it all the time. Great battle now between the Vayu and Alpha Plus coming in from the left of the downwind. Our two Asian teams, great rivals, great friends. The advantages with the Alpha Plus just now at full chat. Nick Egnell-Johnson, the young Kiwi helmsman, doing a fantastic job, and look at them coming through the line for a 9th place. But what a race, what fun. Alpha Plus just to get through ahead of Vayu. And Platoon coming in 11th place and made 1 place gain since the disaster at the Lure Gate. And so disappointment for the German team. Seemed to be really on fire with that first race win yesterday. However, got to regroup, get back on the horse as it were, and get challenging for the second race of the day. So Platoon get 11th. But a couple of boats still to finish. Teasing machine just coming in. And Crayola are a long way back with no spinnaker. So Katie, the sled win, they really were immaculate all the way through that race, weren't they?
They really were. I mean, from the start when they were in that super tight lane, and they managed to just kind of, they had really good speed up that upwind, managed to create themselves a lane out of nowhere, it kind of seemed, and then continued that trend for the rest of the race. And they raced really cleanly, kind of kept everything simple, didn't make mistakes, and really good race in really, really hard conditions.
That's Crayola approaching downwind without a kite. As ever, though, it's about getting maximum points from our best points from each race. So they'll want to finish for sure. They were lying 8th going into this race, the 5th, the first race yesterday, 11th. So our Brazilian team, we understand we've got a new Brazilian team, another Brazilian team joining us for next season. And it's also no secret at all that we have a Swedish team with a boat in build. Both these teams are with us here in Porto Cervo, looking and learning for next season. Seems like Crayola have lost their very, very top batten, supporting the upper roach of the main. And great views back to the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda there. Spectacular scenery. Without doubt one of the most beautiful areas for the coastal races up into the La Maddalena archipelago. Just we'll see the shots in a few seconds there. The entrance to the Gulf. So a few tough moments for our Brazilian team. So they have this problem at the very, very top of the mast, or very top of the mainsail. It'll take a few minutes for them to get that sorted out. But Katie, we're pretty much at the top end, I would say, 25 knots, 24, 25 knots just now. I wonder what our principal race officer, Maria Torrijos, will decide. Certainly we know the breeze is going to build. It's 11:39, 11:40 local time. Normally we wouldn't start a race in 26 knots if that's going to be the wind speed, or the wind speed's going to build from that. However, time to regroup for all our teams. Of debrief, get some hydration and nutrition. So there we go. The Criolla team coming through to finish race number 3 of the series. And get their points for 13th. The problem at the top of the mast there, or top of the mainsail. Should sort that out fairly quickly. It's going to take time, or teams get to ask the race committee for a few moments to get things sorted out. Anyway, Sled now leading 4-2-1, 7 points, 5 points up on Allegra and Paprec. Allegra in 12 points, 15 points for Paprec. Phoenix also in 15. Platoon Aviation in 5th on 18.5. American Magic with that second moving up to 6th overall and 20 points. 1 point behind our Gladiator. Brevetza 22 points in 8th. 9th are Alpha Plus. Alcedo Vitamina in 10th. Vayu in 11th on 28. 29 for Criolla. But really only 9 points between 6th and 12th. And we're only at the third race of the regatta. Katie, what do you think about the conditions for our next race?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky one to call. I think the breeze is still a little bit up and down. I mean, the second lap of that race definitely was a little bit lighter, but at the moment it feels like it's picked up again. It is pretty breezy out here, but I'm hoping they're going to get racing, because this is insane watching and it's super fun to watch and kind of to talk about. So I'm hopeful that they'll get another race in, but yeah, I'm not the one making the decision, so we'll have to wait and see.
Indeed, let's have a look at the season standings. A much better race for American Magic from that point of view. We're now in 151 for American Magic. Sled in second on 179. Paprec cementing or improving their position, their grasp on third step on the season podium, now in 214.5. That means they're 5.5 points clear of Alcedo Vitamina, who are now in 4th. Platoon Aviation then obviously that 11th place for them, really harming their charge. They're now 11 points behind Paprec, but otherwise Alpha Plus in 6th, Allegra 7th, Vayu 8th, Brevetza 9th, Gladiator in 10th, Phoenix, Criolla and Teasing Machine. So that's the circuit standings after the first race of the day. We're going to take a little bit of a break and fingers crossed we should go into second race reasonably quickly. There'll be time, I think, for the teams to regroup and make any minor running repairs. Join us again very shortly. A finish, it could not be closer.
It's absolutely insane.
2 seconds between Vayu and Alpha Plus.
Phenomenal win here.
What a thrilling finish.
3, 2, 1.
Are they going to have enough momentum to just get round? What a mark rounding.
10.52s on this spreader leg is insane.
On our committee boat, AP over A. We knew it was marginal, and we were seeing gusts of 26, 28 knots at times during that race. And so we've decided there will be no further racing today. The fleet are sent ashore and we'll live to fight again another day. Tomorrow probably. Forecast is still quite breezy, but it's likely we'll race again tomorrow morning. But keep watching our social media channels. We'll keep you up to date then. And thank you so much for joining us for a fantastic race 3. All credit to Sled, who lead the standings. So see you tomorrow. A finish, it could not be closer.
It's absolutely insane.
2 seconds within value in Alpha Plus.
Phenomenal win here.
What a thrilling finish.
3, 2, 1.
Are they going to have enough momentum to just get round? What a mark rounding.
10.52s on this spreader leg is insane.
Locked in my head, romanticizing forever. Last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I was through, but looking at you, I think I changed my mind. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first and all of it. Oh, what a rush, looking into your eyes, playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break